Hello, am I audible now?
Yes,
Yeah. So I was just explaining when our project is imported successfully in the Eclipse, and there by default, this like source main Java package will get created, and inside that, whatever the package naming convention we have given with same name, our like class will get one class will be getting created, which will be having our main method. So in this there are two extra lines are coming. One is the line number 6 and then line number 10. Line number 6 is just signifying like it is a Spring Boot application. And line number 10, what we are doing, if you see carefully, like Spring application. So this is coming from line number 3. It is importing that class Spring application from the Spring framework. So this is the main class. Like this is basically one class, and inside this class there is a run method. So to start a Spring Boot application, this class run method by default will be getting called Spring application class, and its run method. And it has the two argument. One is like Spring Boot application dot class. So Spring Boot application Spring Boot demo application. If you see this name and this name, our class name. Our class name is Spring Boot demo application, and here we are writing the name of our class only, like Spring Boot demo application dot class. And then next option is args. So that is the argument. So argument means generally we also write whenever like our simple Java class, there also we write the arguments. So that is the argument from the simple Java class. And this one is the class, like same class name, this one. So it is just signifying this Spring Boot demo application dot class will be the Spring Framework application class on which Spring Boot application, Spring application will run the this particular class from here. So in short, basically from here we can run our application. Okay, run on server or Java application we can do. So to start our program, you will be running from here. Okay. So now just to show like if we are able to successfully start this application, I will run it. Run a Java application. So you can see, so I'll maximize this. Something it is console output it is printing. So if you see carefully, there is a Spring symbol. It is showing like it is a Spring Boot. Same version it is coming like 3.1.0, the one version which we created while creating our application from the Spring initializer template. So that version it will reflect. And if I maximize this console, if you see carefully, first line it is saying like started Spring Boot demo application. This is the name of our main class. It is saying like which Java version I uh, is using it is. So I installed I downloaded the project from the Java 17, but here it is showing the Java 18 because Java 18 is currently present in my local system. So with use of the Java 18, it is used. So Amit has asked the question like if you select different version, then like on what version our program will run. So to answer that, our like project will run whatever the latest version it is present in our system for Java. So that version automatically it will pick. With this PID, I'm not sure with this PID, but it is showing like the where our project is present, that folder from there it is picking. So target folder also it is showing this is the in downloads Spring Boot demo, my project is present. And also some more details about like who has started by admin. Now, second thing is in second line, if you'll see no active profiles set, falling back to the one default. For the profiles related things, we'll later discuss like what are the profiles basically. To just describe a little bit, profiles are like our suppose my currently my project in my local. So for profile, current profile will be the local. When it will be deployed in the development region, then profile will be the development. When it will be in the production region, then their profile will be the production. So the profile is showing like at what stage we are running our application basically. I'm getting some background. Anyone have any query? Like, okay. So coming to the next line, like it by default, local server it is using as Tomcat. So Spring Boot is having the inbuilt server with it. Server means like to start our application, whenever we browse here and we browse anything on the browser. So it is using the like google.com. So it is currently it is using the Google server basically to search the anything. So for search operation, it is using the Google server. But for our application also, if you want to open that application in our local system, so for that also we need a server, and that is inbuilt server by Java, like for Spring Boot, that is the Tomcat. And it is also showing like on which port it is running. So it is running on port 8080. So if like here, if I search something, it is showing like https://www.com. So if I have to see like my application is successfully running or not, so I will put here the local host and the port number is 8080. So it is saying like some message is coming. It means like our application is up. If I change this other port other than 8080, so it will directly show like it is not found. So site is not found. So to differentiate like our application is running or not, just we have to see like message should be different than not this one. The site cannot be reached. So our message should be different for like that one. So currently, if I put 8080, some other error is coming like white label error mess page. So it means our application is running. For now, we can select. So now our application is running on this port 8080. It is next line. It is related to starting the service, then starting the Tomcat engine, then it is showing like which kind of the like application it is starting. So web application context. Next line also it is showing like Tomcat has been started. Our server has been started at 8080, and how much time it has taken to start. So on this time depends on like how much code we have. So if a lot of code and dependencies we are having, so then it will take the more time to start. Okay. So, and internally it is using the servlet concept for like connecting with the server and Spring Boot feature. Spring Boot is basically internally it has used the features of the servlet. So, servlet it is using. Servlet basically what it does is it's make the connectivity for our Java code to the browser and server, we can say, for search any engine, like search based engine. So for that servlet we use. So just it was quick brief description like while we are running our application, by just downloading and importing it, what all features it will reflect in our its console output. For now, like when we are running the Java application, like our exact output was coming. But now instead of the output, this complete set of details will come by just running our application. Now coming back to the like this first package we have discussed about source main Java. Next package is source main resources. So in source main resources, if you will see last file application.properties. So I'll just minimize this. In application.properties, currently it is blank. But in this basically property related to our application, for example, like port information like server dot port. We can give like 8095. I can save it. Okay. So we can add the port information. Then like profiles we are discussing on here. So by default, currently default profile it is used. But we can use here the profile also, like profile should be local, a profile should be development. So kind of those like project information related. Then some like database related like JDBC driver or username or password. Those kind of details will be adding here just to show like from other application which I have already in my system, like what all other features we can have in this property file. I will show here like, so here we can see like server dot port. Same thing I have taken in this project like server dot port. So it will currently it is running on 8080. When I will restart this application, it will start running on 8095. And this application is running on 7009. Next details are related to the data source like JDBC. Basically, I've used the Oracle. So related to the Oracle username, password, then show SQL. So if you'll show SQL, if you'll keep the true, it means whatever the queries will run for our application, Java application, those all queries like select star from this table, that table, those all thing will print here. So query will also print. So sometimes what happen like Java generate the query by itself. So if we have to check like a query is incorrect, so we can print that in the console. So only if it is true, then only our query will print in the console. If it is false, then in that case query will not print. So on the basis of query sensitivity, we can show the user or not, we can keep it as a true. Then this is like Hibernate DDL auto. So basically there are two features for DDL auto. One is the create and other is update. If we write the create, so each time we'll run the application, and if it is the create DDL create, it means every time it will create the table in your database. If you write it update, so every time it will go ahead and only update the table. If there's some new table you have added in your code, so that it will not create, it will just go ahead and update that table. And if it does not exist, that table does not exist, then it will show like table not found. So these two features are there. For now, like I have taken the non, because table part I don't want to handle from this side. I want to handle the table all operation from the like Oracle. There in Oracle only I will create the table, update the table. Just if the anything is being updated from the Java application, that part only I want to handle it from the Spring Boot application.
আমাকে ছুটি দিবা
Hello. Uh,
ठीक है चलो
yeah. So do you have any doubts? Like, did you missed anything?
we have missed everything since the starting because here is very fast fluctuation in Wi-Fi connection.
Yes. So if it is like a connection is not proper, either we can connect at different time, because connectivity is
We will
not.
connect at different.
Yeah, maybe that
Okay,
will be the.
you can join with Summit. Go ahead.
Yeah. So Amit, so far you like whatever I explained, it is did you get that? I mean, it's clear na for you.
Yes, 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 I am clear.
Yeah. So if anything, like you can interrupt me in between, because like I'm also not
Okay.
sure na like how much you are getting. So if any doubt, please interrupt me. Okay.
Okay.
So
This application property is mandatory. We are identified. Other side is identified. If I'm,
yeah.
we are
So
mentioned this only.
no, no, this application dot properties you are asking, like, is it mandatory to update that thing na? So
Yeah, yeah.
application dot properties by default, when this file will get created, it will be present, because Spring Boot is facilitating us to simplify our process. So it will create a blank file for you. and in that it's up to you,
Okay.
like you want to change the code or not. You can delete this file also, but going forward this will be like required file, because you can see like if I have to
If you
connect.
are if you are working in
Mhm.
SSS class main.java, if you are working in program,
Hmm.
okay, so automatically that much codes are directly showing in the application properties or not? Yeah, we are mentioned that all these things.
No, no, it will not be required to run a simple Java program. This nothing will be required. Just it will be blank basically. There will be no use of application or properties for simple Java program. In that, if I just
Okay.
create, just I need to add. Suppose here, if I go ahead and print something. Okay, like welcome to Java program. So I save it and just I will like run a Java application. So it is asking to save this. So currently like our application file was blank. Okay. Now here you can see like whatever the Java program, simple Java program it was running. So that output is coming also here. If some mathematical logic I will give, that will also come. So just the thing is like after printing all this message, our like actual Java program message will
It
come.
will be shown in whatever we are writing in the program, that will be also showing
Yeah.
in the console.
Yes, right.
Okay.
Along with the Spring Boot feature, because we have integrated the Spring Boot properties.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So this application file application.properties I was explaining, because our next step will be to connect with the database. So to connect with the database, some of the basic properties we need, and those properties are like one is this Z Oracle URL, which we give while installing the Oracle also, then Oracle driver, then username password for your like on local system. If you are using the Oracle, so there will be a specific username password, so that username and password you will give here. Then for printing the query in the console, you can give the true or false. If the true will be, then it will print. So yeah, that part I was like explaining. And then there we are at last we are defining the dialect. So dialect basically help us our Spring Boot application to identify like which kind of the data source we are connecting. If it is the Oracle dialect, then we are connecting with the Oracle database. If it is the SQL dialect, then we'll connect with the SQL database. So there are some other DB also. According to our requirement, we will put the dialect. So it will help us our Spring Boot application to identify like which kind of data source we are connecting. So that is the dialect, like 7 to 8 line of properties are there. So that we generally keep in the application.yml application.properties file. So I'm just closing it. For now I have changed the server only. So if you'll see here, Tomcat in starting it was running on default port 8080, but now it is running on 8095. Same thing if I'll go in the browser and now refresh this page 8080. So still it is showing not found. Okay, 8085. So our application has started successfully, right? Not.
8095.
Yeah, it has
We are just
started on 8095. That's what I'm checking. But here by default, it's not accepting 8095. Maybe let me reopen the
you
Chrome.
are just put
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like actually, this is not the actual implementation, just to show that I have shown. But for that, we'll be using the different tool to hit this
95.
browser. Yeah.
95.
Okay.
95 just
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 95. Okay. Yeah, so 95 also it is working, but side by side it is working on default port also. I think. So two port it will be enabled on default port and the port which will give new port. So on that, so that one new finding we can say like. So yeah. So now this is the like properties relate this folder source main resources. So its name is the resources. Resources means something static. Static means some of the fix the like username, password, those kind of details. We are taking the application dot properties. In static file, we keep our folders related to like front end application, like some suppose some HTML file is there, images, photos, those kind of things we put in the static and template folders. So for now we are not using CSS or HTML any file, so that is the blank. Now next file is the source test Java. So if I will okay, maybe I'm explaining the different application, but same thing is there also in Spring Boot demo. So source main Java. So this is a blank, and then in the source test Java, if you see the package name, like in the main, whatever the package in the main Java, same package name is showing here also. You can see like com.hnt.springboot demo. So why it is exactly same? Because in the source main Java, we are writing the actual code. And in source main Spring Boot demo, will write the some testing code, like how to do the testing in Java. We'll see later on, but the package structure will be the same for source test Java and source main Java. So this is just to open a simple test class. We can see this. If I open this file, this was our like auto-generated file, Spring Boot application. And for that with the same name, a similar name like Spring Boot demo application test. So at last it has added just the word test for the class name. Okay. So and here the like in main application it was defining like it is the Spring Boot application annotation, but here it is defining the annotation as Spring Boot test.
Springboot.
And yeah, and here like for main class we are writing our main method. So public static void main. But here while we'll write the different methods, like there are other methods suppose. So for main method it is taking as context load. But if I have like some other application, other method, like here if I create one more method, public int add int first number, comma int second number. So just I'm showing like if there is another method, so for that what will be the like way of writing our test case? Just one simple test case also. So here if I have added one more method like add, so I will write again at the rate test, and then like it will return type always will be wide for test classes, and I'm writing for the add method. So add test I will add here. So basically, for this new method, which was the method name was add, I will write the one test case. At the rate test, I will use above the method, and then a method name add, and then I will add the word test after that. So this is like just for test case, like how to start writing that. So this was just package structure for the test. It will be same package structure here also. Now coming to the other packages like what are present in Spring Boot application. So I'll close this test class. S- Save. Okay. So now here we can see like JRE system library. These all are the classes of the Java. Like our Java file, whatever it is present, JDK. Internally, it is using the different piece of the code. So if you want to see anything related to that, then there are specific packages for that. Like suppose I want to read about the like list, something related to the list, then there should be some list package or class. Here the like we use the yeah, so maybe you can see like on your all the Java program basically it will be. So I will not much explain about this. but it will just the Java, like all the Java libraries. Now, second is the Maven dependency. So Maven dependency, before explaining about these all Maven dependencies, these are the same dependency basically what we selected. So we selected the two dependency, one related to the Spring Boot and other related to the S2 database. So if you see, most of the dependencies is starting with word Spring. Okay, so this all the Spring Boot are coming, the dependencies, and then some of the like by default dependencies which will be required that are coming. So this basically just to showing purpose, like whatever the dependency we are using, for that specific folder is getting created, and that is consist of lot of code internally. So earlier what happened, when we are not using the dependency, these all code we have to manually write by ourselves, and these data are in the GB, so it was like taking a lot of effort for Java developer to write the code of all the dependency. To like make the easy of this process of dependency, we are directly using the Spring Boot feature. So now, like whatever the dependencies we are adding, so coming down to the next folder, source folder, it is for the same like Java folder only. One new source folder is created. Target folder is some kind of source, like data source you want to provide, or like Excel file you want to provide, or you want, suppose you want to create one new Excel file. So for that you have to give a path like where your Excel file should be created, so that file will be created in target folder. So those kind of the concept we are giving the target folder for generating the new file or using the new file. So there will be keeping our those kind of files in target folder. Then this is a kind of help.md is a setting file. These all are the setting files. MVNW, that is related to the Maven, and Maven means we are using the Maven tool now internally. So for that, it is these files are there. So that will be too much if I explain about them. So I'll just go to the last file here, that is the pom.xml. Now, while explaining in starting, I told that there are two type of the build tools, application building tool. One is the Maven and other is the Gradle. So this file is generated on the basis of the Maven build tool, and specifically like we have added the two dependencies. So if I will come to, if we'll show from starting. First line is just it is showing like it is a XML file. Like up to here, it is just for the XML only. Then model version, these all are the XML related things. Now coming to the parent, like if you have worked on the HTML or XML, then you can relate these tags. Line number 5 is the opening tag, and line number 10 is the closing tag. So parent basically inside the part, like this is the main thing what our application is using. So parent dependency is a Spring Boot. So that's why I was saying like Spring Boot is our main dependency. If that is there, only like other features or other dependency will work. And that is the main reason like it is coming in the parent folder. So here it is describing about like which group ID. I mean, I told like group is related to organization. So it is org.spring framework. Artifact IG is Spring Boot parent, and it's a specific version, like we are using the which version of Spring Boot. So it is describing about that. So it is just for the Spring Boot feature, like which version we are using. Some of the old places people are still using the 2.7 Spring Boot version or 2.5, because those are the more stable for now. And new upcoming project, they are using the 3 plus, because why they are using 2.5, other reason is like this Spring Boot version help us to identify other dependency. So suppose like a 2 point, there is some version of Oracle. I'm connecting with the Oracle dependency or S2 database dependency. So their dependency also should be compatible with the 3.1. Just what I mean to say is if there is a Spring Boot version, Here I am using the 2.3.1, and then suppose here like Oracle version is there. So Oracle version, for example, just I am taking like Oracle version. Suppose for example we are using the Oracle 19. Now, if the like I have one old, this is related to the new project. So this is the relationship. Like for Spring Boot 3.1, it is mandatory to use the Oracle 19. But for some of the like I have the one old project, and that is still using the Oracle version as 15. Oracle 15, suppose it is using. So I cannot use here the 3.1 Spring Boot version, because 3 point is only compatible with the 19, Oracle 19. And for my organization requirement is to use the Oracle 15. I cannot use the latest Oracle version. So in that case, forcefully I have to degrade my Spring Boot version to 2.5, or the latest version, whatever it is supporting. So Spring Boot version, the meaning of explaining this point was like Spring Boot version only not depend on the like Spring Boot features. It also depends on the other dependency. Like other dependencies are supporting the which version of Spring Boot. So if this are like most of there are, suppose I'm using the 20 dependency, and 15 of them are not supporting 3.1 Spring Boot version. So in that case, I have to go to the lower version of Spring Boot. So that just I was
Okay.
explaining like lower version why we need of the Spring Boot in some cases because of the other dependencies. So now this was related to the Spring Boot version. Coming down this part, if you'll see carefully, line number 11 to 15. So this is related to our project. Like one specific version is for the Spring Boot. For each of our dependencies, one particular version is there. S- yeah. Are you speaking anything, Amit?
No, no, no.
Okay. So yeah, just I was saying like even we are working on our project also, Java project, but there might be requirement like we have to share our code with someone. So there should be a particular version of our project also. So for that case, by default, it is taking as for our project group ID as com.hnt, which we have created, given like while starting. We can edit that also like later on also. In this file, if you'll edit, our project package will change, our requirement basically that will change. That version also we can edit. So here there are two kind of the versions generally. One is the snapshot and other is release. So in most of the like currently it is coming as a snapshot, which meaning is it is in development. If it is in the release, it means that release is the stable version. So this is the current version which will be created for our project. We can give the simple number also, 1, 2, 3 kind of. Third one is like our project name, and fourth one is our project description. So the same thing, whatever we have given in the template, if you don't want to follow the template of that Spring initializer while downloading on project, so we can create our own Spring Boot project also from here. Just create a file, create a simple or your Java project, and in that add this file pom.xml. So that all the files should will be having these all the like features. So if it is having all the features, it will work in the similar way to the Spring initializer. So Spring initializer was making our project for the packaging structure and by default properties creation. Now coming down to the properties. This was just about our project information. Next thing is Java version. So we have selected there the Java 17. So that's why by default it is coming as Java 17. So if we are using the above version of that, then our project will support. In my local 18 version is there, so it is supporting that. But if I like in my local there is 10, and here we are using Java 17, so that time I suspect like it will not support. So considering our like stable version, we can use that as per our requirement. Third, like this was just existing information. We do not generally change these all the informations because that we give while creating the project. The more important part comes from here, like dependency, because we will be regularly adding some new dependency according to our project requirement. So in dependencies, again, it is using the XML tag dependencies. If you see the word is capital dependencies, and its closing is here at line or 41 dependencies. So it is describing like it is the plural. So inside this, there will be multiple singular dependency, like this dependency for the Spring Boot, this dependency for the Spring Boot, like H2 database, and third dependency for the Spring Boot test. So these two dependency we selected, if you remember, like while creating a Spring Boot application, we selected the Spring Boot starter web and we selected the H2 database. So for that, it is using the group ID, artifact ID, same thing. So these two dependency we selected, and by default, this third dependency is coming here. Why? Because we are using the Spring Boot. So our application is understanding if you are using the Spring Boot, it means you will also use the Spring Boot test. So if you are sure like your application does not require the testing file, so even you keep this, that will not harm anything, but you can remove this also if you do not need the testing. So you can keep it or remove it. So this was related to the dependency part. Then at last there is a plugin. We are using the build tool as Maven. So the Maven plugin is coming. So I think our meeting will close. So this was related to the like by default what our project will have.
Okay, Arun. So if I will have any doubts, I
Yeah,
will be concerned you. Okay.
sure, Amit.
So I am informed also Siva. Okay.
Fine, no problem. Yeah,
So, if you are arrange the another meeting, then you also inform me. So.
yeah, sure.